doesn't feel like coming because he's paid only 75,000. So that means we have a huge problem as the engineer. We have to break away from the vicious cycle. First few years will be very difficult with increase in income. After that, it will be very good situation. Now let's something extra with numbers. A very good indicator of situation in higher education is tertiary enrollment. Tertiary enrollment. That means how many students can get higher education. That is university education. Sri Lanka is 5%, India 10%. I have rounded off the numbers so that you can easily talk. UK 60%, America 73%. Now you can see why America is doing damn well, even when they have everything wrong with them. Their units are wrong, their screws are wrong, their nuts are wrong, everything is wrong. Still, they are doing well. Japan, everything is right. So you bring the Japanese vehicle here, you remove a nut and you take another nut and fix it. How sadly we have failed in our education. We also might have to be blamed, since we could have resisted extent. We could have resisted extent. Sometimes we might have to blame ourselves as well. But not very much. But let's not blame us, let's blame the government. Because government must be blamed. Now, time to put the blame on the government and force them to do 10 million extra, 10 million more shortly and solve our issue. So we should not blame ourselves, but we should now start blaming the government, saying, all the 10 million more shortly and solve our issue. So we should not blame ourselves, but we should now start blaming the government, saying, all the government talks big, they have sadly failed in this system because we are doing far worse than even India. And we have to use these numbers and put the blame on the government. So the strategies for increase in education, because if we, now the chances are we get our demands, if we start fighting this way, then we will have to face the tune also. So now we have more money and we have to do something. Also I will just list, what we should be doing if we get all these things, and what are we going to face? How are we going to help the government to spend more on education? The government can't spend, we have to spend. So we have to sort out how we are going to spend. Outcome-based education, large class sizes, smart class-based, classroom-based teaching. For example, National University of Singapore, they give a degree from MIT to the Chinese students who have never seen America. So they study in NUS. People in America conduct lectures, and they use something called smart classroom environment with the mics, pictures, everything. And some of you might know. And, so use the latest IT-based technologies. Laptop for every student. We must ask the government to give laptop to every student. If they can't give us, at least give the student. Latest software-based education to increase employability. Never offer a subject in your area of interest unless you have a class size of 40 to 50, because now we are talking about how to deal with an increase in intake. Don't do that. At the moment you find you can't offer a subject in your area, you will divert to another area and do something useful. So this type of policies will drive us from shells we are in, if any. I am not saying we are all in shells, but if we are in a shell, automatically we will be forced to come out of the shell. With more students, less lectures, we can do more R&D, and R&D means wealth. Don't think R&D is your recognition, it's wealth also, because you can use your R&D for your next consultancy. In few years we can solve the lecturer problem, higher education problem. So as FUTA, as UMTA, we have a duty to know how we solve our problem, how we actually mold our future. This is how we should mold our future. So conclusions, our demands are very reasonable. There is no question in it. And I have shown you why they are reasonable, why the government can give them, why we are not going to sustain our in future unless we meet them. Government must give them. We must enlighten them that the government can gain a lot by thinking positive. Neither government is thinking negative. We have to show them how to think positive and give our demand and give that only to us, not anybody else. Because the problem is in the education sector, not in the highway sector. So we should Wish our industrial action all the best and a successful conclusion that will not force us to strike again in future. And that's our wish.